Welcome back to Battlefield 2042. In this video, I'm going to be going through my phone and having a look at some of the stuff I've written down. I've basically taken notes. And it's going to be an angry rant. This is also the facecam's debut for angry rants. Some of you say, like, where's your face gone? Because I have done facecam stuff in the past. It's just, I don't know, it's just sometimes I feel like it, sometimes I don't. I will be adding it back in if you guys enjoy it. I leave feedback and stuff. If you don't mind seeing it, let me know. If you don't want to see it, let me know. But at the moment, I'm thinking I would like it to stay in the videos. So, in terms of Battlefield, there's been so much, like, controversy around it. Like, I've had people hating me. I've had people loving me. It's just been an absolute mess. But if I go to the pictures in my phone, I've taken several screenshots. And they're mainly from Twitter, because they announced a delay. And I called the delay. I said it months and months before. Like, this game's going to be delayed. It's nowhere near ready. They had trailers. They were showing alpha gameplay only. There were no talks of the beta. I heard the tech test was a disaster. But someone said radio silence can no longer be a thing after this delay. Your own EA Game Changers didn't even know about this until just now. So when everyone publicly found out about the delay is also when the EA Game Changers found out about it. And then someone said, how long has this game been in development? There was no game in 2019, blah, blah, blah. Because in the delay announcement, they've used the pandemic. And that's been their reason for the delay. Where a lot of people are saying the game started development way before then. So why has that come in as a factor to the delay? Like, a lot of people are totally against the delay. Some people are like, oh yeah, it's going to be more polished when it comes out. But then someone said, from the creators of the game, we are ahead of schedule. We have 3 companies working on Battlefield 2042. We are delaying Need for Speed to focus on the game. Then they also said they took an extra year to develop the game itself. Then it comes around to September 2021, and then our marketing's dog shit, we're delaying the game. Someone else pointed out that they lied as well, because it was only on the 3rd of September, so less than 2 weeks ago, or like right now as I'm recording this, 2 weeks ago, someone said, here's some fire new renders, like new images of characters in the game. Team's doing an incredible job as we get closer to open beta later this month and launch next month with all this polish. Oh, our game is so polished. But it is not, because they've delayed it. And also, the same person that called that out mentioned the investors' call earlier was also false information. Because they were saying the game's 100% ready, all this, blah, 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 and it's not. It's been delayed. And then someone else with it mentioned, so this is what being ahead of schedule looks like. There was no need to flex being ahead with development months ago if you can't actually deliver. Time to cancel the pre-order. There's not even any news on the beta. What a joke. And then I'd also like to point out that I did a video. It's not looking good for Battlefield 2042 at all. And that's the video that kind of started the whole thing off with me, controversy, hate, like all that sort of stuff. 50,000 views on the video. People went absolutely ballistic over that video. 569 likes, 3,400 likes. It's by far, like all time, my worst like to dislike ratio. But I said in that video, like, I was just simply reading, it wasn't even a rant. I was reading stuff from articles. I had information that I had found from, like, different insiders and all this stuff like that. I did my research. It might not have been 100% accurate, but I knew there were issues. There was always concerns within development. And, I mean, they've delayed it, so there are obviously issues. But some people are so blind due to hype. These companies put out these fantastic looking trailers where they go, oh, game engine footage. And people will be like, oh, yes, look, this is what's being used in the game. No, it's footage that's been designed using the game engine, but what they actually release in the game won't be anything like that at all. So, if it wasn't buggy and in a bad state, they wouldn't have delayed it. The PS5 tech test was cancelled. Whether that was just due to crossplay issues or anything, the fact is it was cancelled. The Xbox and the PC, from what I had heard, were incredibly buggy. Another thing is, before we get into that, I wouldn't be surprised, and this is just guess, like it's estimate, and like nothing's 100% confirmed, but I would, like, personally, I wouldn't be surprised if there's another delay. Because it just seems to be how gaming works now. A lot of the AAA games have like 2 or 3 delays before they come out. And they started this game years and years ago, so they've had time to finish it off. But if there isn't another delay, what I can see happening is developer crunch. For those of you unaware, developers have crunch and their shifts get doubled. Instead of doing 8-hour days, they're doing 16-hour days, crazy things like that. I think it was Red Dead Redemption 2, their developers were working like 100-hour weeks or something crazy. But I think crunch might happen, and it really, really shouldn't, because the only reason these games get rushed, they come out poor, like Cyberpunk and everything, is the developers, they make mistakes, the coding's not right, and something happens that completely bugs the game out. But that's on them to fix. It's the publishers, the CEOs, the investors, all the higher-ups, all the management that rush these games out and don't give developers enough time to fully develop a game. So it's not the developers' fault at all. Yeah, they've made mistakes in developing, some of the coding's dodgy, there's issues in networking or something like that. But the developers themselves put in a grind, they put in a shift. They are working like so much time and effort to develop these games, and they're being rushed by the people that want their paychecks. That's how a lot of AAA gaming goes nowadays. Because have you ever thought, like, they release a trailer, they don't have a clue whether it's going to be delayed or not at the time, but it's not looking likely to release when they announce the release date. Have you ever thought they might just show trailers and stuff and release a tech test to get money from pre-orders? It's like crazy things like that, because EA are publishing the game. DICE are developing, EA are publishing. EA are one of the worst companies out there for gaming. This game is live service, more so than Battlefield 5. Battlefield 5 got abandoned. This game is even more live service. So the game's not going to be finished at launch with the content they plan to put in it. But maybe there wasn't enough content in the game even for live service. Or maybe it's just not in a proper playable state. And guys, remember, comments, let me know exactly what you're thinking about this. Just be honest. That's the only thing. I'm going to talk a little bit about that at the end. But I think EA are up to something, because there is still leaked footage from that tech test on YouTube, and it's dated back to the 13th of August. 45,000 views, you can search it. Battlefield 2042 leaked gameplay. Put that in a YouTube search. You'll find the video, over 45k views. It was uploaded on the 13th of August. That leaked footage, the gameplay from the tech test, was under a strict NDA. A non-disclosed agreement between the company and between influencer, creator, whatever, like press basically. And you are not allowed to share any footage, even talk about anything you have seen publicly. And there are videos that are still up on YouTube of the tech test. So I think somewhere in the whole cycle of releasing this game, EA are up to something with hype building. That's what they're good at. They know how to make money. A development team, a publisher, they're not going to tell you that their game isn't ready to launch, because they're going to lose pre-orders, they're going to lose money. And at the end of the day, the whole thing is business. I still strongly believe the game's going to release in an incredibly bad state. And just, there are people, this is the final part now. People are quoting on Twitter that a delayed game will eventually be good, but a rushed game will forever be bad. And I don't know who said that or whatever, but Cyberpunk, Outriders, Anthem. The list goes on. They are just a few examples that come to the top of my mind when we talk about games. Because Outriders had 3 delays. Cyberpunk took 8 or 9 years to release. Anthem, they claimed it took 7 years, but it didn't. It took 18 months to 2 years to develop. But they had delays, and they all come out, and they were not polished, they were all buggy. Anthem's now being cancelled by EA. Outriders, every single update they release is having a month's worth of delays. And Cyberpunk, I don't think it has any content yet. I think they're still doing patches to fix things up that people are complaining about. So it's not necessarily saying eventually will be good. What, Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be good when everyone's forgotten about it? Because the hype doesn't stay there forever. So the one thing I say, when I say let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments, be honest. Just truthful of what you think, not what anyone else thinks. Don't follow no hype trains or anything like that. I sit on the fence. I come from a neutral point of view. I'm buying Battlefield, I'll be playing Battlefield, I look forward to it, but I have my concerns. I'm skeptical because I know what EA are like. They are one of the worst companies in the world for publishing games, even for developing games. EA are just so up. The CEO wants a new yacht every week. That's how it works. And all these investors, I've put money into this, I want my money back with profit now. This is just how it works. All the suits, everyone higher up. The developers just don't get enough time to work on, do the things they need to do to get the game in a polished state. They get rushed out, even with delays. Because a month delay on Battlefield 2042, they're not going to be able to do a lot in the space of a month. Working from home or in studio, they are not going to be able to do a lot. And from what I've heard and seen with the tech test, it needs a lot of work done to it. Like, we only got to see like one map or something from the tech test. I've not seen too much footage, but I've not only seen but heard from other people. Xbox and PC were really buggy. PS5 was cancelled. I recommend, because I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I recommend sitting on the fence, be neutral, don't get too hyped, but don't steer clear of it just because you don't like the idea of it, sort of thing. So don't be totally negative, don't be totally positive. Try and find a balance in between, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. I look forward to it. I'm excited to play the game, but at the same time, I'm concerned about the state of it from a technical point of view. And the only reason I do all this sort of stuff, and I do my rants and everything, is because I don't want people wasting money. It's $120, £110 to get the biggest edition of this game, and it's coming out with multiplayer. That is it. You don't get any, 7 maps, few different game modes, live service, so stuff won't even be in there at launch. I know we've got Portal and everything coming into it as well, but there's just so much missing from a full game because of the live service. Because live service, they'd take 20% of the game away, fix that up at a later date and add it into the game after launch. And it takes maybe a year to 2 years to get some of that extra content into the game that should have been there from launch, that would have been there if it wasn't live service. And 2042 is going to be more live service than BF5, and BF5 was abandoned. That's the sort of stuff you have to take into consideration. Don't just blindly go and get hyped because they put out a sick-looking game engine footage trailer, or because they showed you gameplay. That gameplay they've shown us was all alpha gameplay, and they started showing that 2 months before release, or 2 months before the initial release date, because obviously it's been held back. I honestly think, I kind of hope there's another delay. If it's not ready, then I hope there is another delay, because if there isn't, that means developer crunch, and it's not fair on the devs to work them extra shifts to get it out because EA and all the investors and stuff want their money. But what we're going to do is wrap the video up there. As I said, let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed it.